Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience.
Heart health, which is one of the biggest foods that we're seeing today. We talk about some foods that actually can support heart health and take it to the next level. Now, a lot of times you think anything that has to be good for you probably tastes really bad, but it doesn't. Actually, foods can really bring health to the body. And remember, the foods you eat every single day are either going to bring health to the body or they're going to take health out of the body. It comes down to the choices that we make every single day. The choices are powerful, and you choose. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Coming up this show, we're going to have all kinds of information to really take you to the next level. We're going to talk about weight loss. Also, got some tips for brain chemistry coming up and ways to have more energy. All of that coming up, power-packed hour with this show. Now, we're going to talk about some heart-healthy foods. Number one is my favorite is salmon. Salmon, of course, it's one of the fish that contain the highest amounts of omega-3 fatty acids and a good source of lean protein. Your body really can't make them, and so we need to get them from our food supply. And the omega-3 fats help to lower your bad cholesterol and increase your good cholesterol. The American Heart Association recommends eating fish like salmon, tuna, and halibut about 2 to 3 times a week. Walnuts. Now, here's a great one for your heart. Out of all the nuts, walnuts have about the highest source of omega-3 fats, but they're also high in calories. So you want to stick to about a handful. That equates to about 25 pieces typically. And you also want to eat them without salt. It depends. Some people can handle the salt. If you have them in Celtic sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, those are all great. And it just depends on how your blood pressure issues are and that sort of thing. So just be cautious around that. And, of course, what happens is, though, that's so interesting about the walnuts, studies show that walnuts can lower these bad cholesterol levels. They have a chemical in them called endothelin. And the endothelin contributes to the inflammation that causes plaquing to form the coronary arteries. And so the nut oils are the highest sources of dietary omega-3 fatty acids in heart health next to fish oil. So it's a great way to get the fats that your body needs. Blueberries are another one. They're loaded with antioxidants. They help to fight the free radicals. And these free radicals are, of course, harmful molecules that can get into your system when you break down foods from the environmental pollutants and such. So a lot of these are a real challenge. The spinach is another one. It's a really great heart-healthy food. And spinach is just about everything the heart needs, including plenty of omega-3s. Yeah, there's omega-3s in spinach. Pretty cool. The antioxidants, B vitamins, and fiber. So spinach is particularly rich in the water-soluble B vitamin called folate. And folate is very important for building and maintaining healthy cells, especially healthy red blood cells needed for heart health. Olive oil is another one. And of course, you can eat olives. It's a great way to go. However, the olive oil is an unsaturated fat. It's one of the key ingredients of the Mediterranean diet. And studies have found that people who follow the Mediterranean diet are less likely to develop heart disease. So the unsaturated fat has the ability to lower bad cholesterol and increase the good cholesterol. Also, when you pair these greens, you can put them with red wine vinegar and with lemon juice. The natural whole grains are another great piece as well. The whole grains reduce bad cholesterol and add an important source of fiber within this. And the brown rice is another one. The difference between brown rice and white rice is the difference between whole and refined grains. So the brown rice actually still has the fiber and the kernel around it. So the white rice is usually just extracted. It's the middle, kind of the inside of the rice grain. But the brown rice has everything, and that's why it has so many health benefits to it. Poultry is another one. It's a good source of protein, and it's great for overall heart health. It's low in saturated fats. That's why it's good. Other lean meats, too, are good to use as well. Even beef, as long as it's low on the saturated fat side. And just so you know this, it's really important people understand. You've heard the term saturated fat, right? And we all think that that's really bad. And too much saturated fat is bad, and it can cause plaquing and buildup of the wrong kind of fat in the body. That is true. However, we need saturated fat in the diet, and saturated fat is actually necessary for us to be able to break down and utilize omega-3 fats. So you've got to have both of those together to be able to get all the fats that you need. Beans are another one, too. Dried beans are a great substitute for optimal health. And so beans are non-fat, high in protein, fiber-rich, so they're great heart-healthy foods. And too much salt is a major cause of high blood pressure and heart disease. So try using fresh herbs and a little touch of this antioxidant-rich lemon juice, and it can really make a big difference. All these are absolutely powerful when you're dealing with heart health. Our foods matter. Of course, exercise and all that matters too. But the choices we make with our eating habits is a big, big deal. You're listening to On Call Radio. Give us a call, 888-283-7272. And also go to the website. Let's go to the phones now and talk with Clark. Hi, Clark.
I'm dealing with diabetes. Trouble I'm having now is my blood pressure is down, my blood sugar is high, I can't get it down, and I'm craving sweets. I need to know what's going to help me not crave the sweets.
Well, with diabetes, a couple things to think about. It's all about lifestyle. It's all about eating habits. So here's the key that I like to talk about with diabetes. Now, the first one is when you eat your meals, you always want to have a protein and a fat, either one of those, with the carbohydrates. So, for example, if you had a baked potato, you'd want to have a chicken breast with it because that'll offset a lot of what will happen with the blood sugar levels. Or, for example, if you had a piece of fruit like an apple or an orange, you could put a handful of nuts with that, and the fats in the nut will help offset the blood sugar rise. So those all really do go hand in hand together. And that's what you want to look at, is you want to have those both kind of working with each other, because if you just do a carbohydrate by itself, it causes too much of a blood sugar rise in the body, even if it's low glycemic, and it's good to have a fat or a protein to help balance that out. That is the real key when you're looking at building a really good system, and that's a great way to go. So always put the two together. And then you can look at supplementation if you want to. I mean, as your doctor's kind of guiding you, you probably want to get a nutritionist on board too, but really some of the great ingredients and components that work together in the supplement world, alpha-lipoic acid, here are some, and chromium picolinate, vanadyl sulfate, and then really they've found a lot of great benefits with using cinnamon. So you can buy it in a capsule form or just put it on your food. But a lot of great benefits in using some of the supplementation, but don't make that the core. That can't be your foundation. I mean, your foundation has to be your eating habits and then exercise. Don't forget, more studies have been done, study after study after study after study. Did I say study? After exercise. I mean, just getting 20 minutes a day, 5 to 6 days a week can make a big difference. So it's getting the right kind of foods in, getting the right kind of exercise in, and building a brand new lifestyle. Build a good lifestyle, and you will make a huge impact in your overall health. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Coming up, more powerful information to impact your health and your life. You're listening to On Call Radio. We'll be right back.
Want to turn back the clock 15 years and have more energy? This is Dr. Raisa telling you to just breathe with LiveO2. LiveO2 delivers the right amount of oxygen we need for optimal health. Go to liveO2.com. That's liveO2.com.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Check us out on the web. What are you struggling with? Let's talk about it. Your health and your life. No matter what it is, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. We've got Rebecca in Wyoming that says, my doctor just told me I have water on my knee. I don't really know what that is. And do you have some insight? Yeah, I do. It depends. Probably a lot of inflammation is typical when you're dealing with any kind of fluid on a joint at all. A lot of times it's good to go in and have it drained, or sometimes the doctors will choose to use anti-inflammatories and some rest, ice, compression, elevation. And they could do that with maybe sending you to a physical therapist And they may try to just work that out and let it go out on its own. It just depends. But typically what you want to do is definitely go on your doctor's guidance on that, because not knowing it, not seeing it, it's hard to even make a comment on it. But rather, those are typically the normal methods that go on with it that can help. So hope that helps in this case. 888-283-7272. Give us a call. We're going to go to the phones and talk with Linda. Hi, Linda.
About supplements, of whether or not you can space them every other day or every 3 days because of finances. And two, can you get all your nutrients from a good, healthy, plant-based diet without taking supplements, or are there certain supplements that are like a must, even though you're eating a healthy diet?
Those are really good questions. When it comes to supplements, I really do think, supplements are what they are. That's what the word means. They're an addition to an already very healthy diet. So they have to all go hand in hand. And what is really good to do and to look at in these sorts of situations is to realize that there are 4 basic supplements that pretty much everybody needs. Almost 5 now, I would say, but 4 basic ones. And I call them the foundational 4. And that's a good whole food multivitamin that gives you a little bit of everything that you need. Okay, because we don't get everything. To answer your question, we don't get everything we need out of our food supply today. It's just our soil, no matter what part of the country you get your foods from, how organic the farmer is in their farming situation, no matter how organic it is, the soil is still depleted, and we don't get all the minerals and nutrients that we need to get out of them. And so that's the important piece of it, is to understand that and to figure that out and then come up with a good game plan accordingly. So that's the big key. Okay. Second is, when you're dealing with supplements, you want to make sure you get the right 4, which is the whole food multivitamin, digestive enzymes to make sure you break down all your foods. Most of us don't break our foods down very well. We only break down maybe 15 to 20% of what we eat, rather than about 80 to 90%. And then cod liver oil for your omega-3 fats, vitamin A and vitamin D. And then the last one are probiotics. The probiotics put the good bacteria back in the digestive tract. And so that gives us our basic foundational 4 of things that we just don't get in our food supply in a day-to-day basis. And that'll ensure that you get a little bit of everything that you need. And then I would say the other one, which is found in or in cod liver oil, is the vitamin D. Sometimes, because the IUs, the units of vitamin D that's in cod liver oil, is actually not that high. So it's always good to make sure you're getting the amount that you need, so the right amount of IUs. So that's the big key. So again, supplements every other day. You want to be consistent with them. The fat-soluble supplements you could do every other day potentially. That would be the fish oil and any of the vitamins that are A, E, D, or K. Those 4. And if you begin to do that on a regular basis, again, supplements, some are expensive, some are not, but you're going to spend the money on the front end staying healthy, or you're going to spend money on the back end, I assure you, doing everything you can to get your health back. And I personally would rather spend it on the beginning, on the front side, to make sure that you're getting everything that you need, because it is not fun. Not fun at all trying to get your health back in any capacity. You have to be really careful with that, because so much of it has to do with our choices. It really does. And once we start making better choices, your body can literally turn around. It's amazing at what can happen. The body can just turn on a dime. You ever seen baby fat and everybody talks about, the child has, it's just baby fat, they'll grow out of it. Well, they're saying now, actually, the baby fat with 5-year-olds who carry on this extra weight may face 4 times the risk of being obese at age 14 compared to their normal weight peers. Studies have been done to show that of the children who became obese between ages of 5 and 14, nearly half were overweight at kindergarten. And it's unbelievable to me to see recently how much our kids are becoming overweight and just the challenges and the parents that are allowing it to happen. And yes, I am putting the blame on the parents. It's nobody else's fault. The kid at 5 doesn't know any different. Whatever food is in the cupboard, in the kitchen, in the refrigerator, that's what they're going to eat. And the parents are the ones letting them do that. I mean, it's incredible. So we wanted to learn, they said, about the ages and vulnerability of the greater risk of new study cases of obesity. And in a report recently reported in the New England Journal of Medicine, they were saying that childhood obesity in the United States has documented, and it's gone from 4.2%, like in 1965, to almost 16% today. Think about that. That's amazing. Also, to better identify ways to intervene and prevent childhood obesity, they came up with some different ways of doing that. And, of course, obesity is a complex, multifaceted issue, but they said getting a control on what our kids are eating is number one, and increasing activity is the other. You know that now, right now, less kids are playing sports right now than ever, and it's declining at a rapid rate. Something has to change. We'll be right back. More information to empower your health and your life. Got some great tips on building energy levels when we come back.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Check us out on the web. And if you're struggling with anything, doesn't matter what it is, your health, depression, anxiety, whatever it might be, realize that no matter where you've been with your health, you can always come back. Meaning, if you've made bad choices in the past, it's okay. Because the reality is our body regenerates, it changes every single day. Each day, old cells die off, new cells form, and we get a brand new body about every couple of years, roughly, they say. So it doesn't matter if you made poor choices, gained a bunch of weight, take a bunch of medication. It's all right. Body can change, and you can go to the next level. In this show, we want to help you do just that. Go to the phones, and let's talk to Rick. Hi, Rick.
I've got a couple of herniated discs in my neck, and the neurosurgeon wants to do some, there's another surgery. I've already had 2, and but I'm living in pain all the way down from my neck all the way down through the length of my back, into my hips, and into my upper part of my leg. And sometimes it hurts so bad to just sit down. I can hardly do it. If you could give me some kind of direction on that or what that might be, I would appreciate it.
Well, one of the keys that you want to look at, especially if you're having that kind of pain, is you want to go get looked at, in my opinion, by a chiropractic physician, because it's non-surgical, hopefully. That's the hope. And it could be just pressure on the nerve. There's a lot of different techniques that can be used. In office techniques, there's decompression therapy that can work very well. If it's just a disc issue, there might be some inflammation in the disc. There might be a little bit of a neuropathy going on that needs to be looked at. So I would definitely have someone take a look at that, and then they can build kind of a good, solid game plan around it and figure out, well, you may just need to be treated for a few weeks, or there may need to be laser therapy implemented. I mean, there's a lot of different therapy that can go on that can be actually quite helpful when you're looking at that. So, again, it's one of those keys that someone that's qualified, like a chiropractic physician or even a physical therapist, can look at that with you. But I would find someone you trust and have them actually take a peek at it, because it's probably coming directly from the spine, and it can be worked on and looked at and treated without any kind of major surgery. and that would be fantastic. Anytime you can lower the inflammation around certain areas and make an impact, that's going to help. Testosterone therapy, low T is a big one. By the way, you're listening to On Call Radio. Give us a call, 888-283-7272. Testosterone therapy, they say, might increase heart attack risk. Think about that. So all the commercials we're seeing now for low T, it's pretty common. And we're seeing it quite often. And low T, of course, it can cause a lot of health issues for guys. That can be a real challenge. So the testosterone therapy is widely advertised, rather, as a way to help men improve low sex drive and really get back their energy. But there's other ways to do it. There's a lot more ways to get your energy and vitality back. And you can actually boost your testosterone levels naturally without even using any of the creams or the pellets or anything like that. So the increased risk they found in men younger than 65 with a history of heart disease and in older men who did have a history in both groups, they said was more or less the same kind of risk. So they said that testosterone therapy typically is given in a gel, patch or injection, or even a pellet. And, of course, its billed as low T. But a study published recently in the Journal of PLOS1 was conducted by a research team that included experts from Consolidated Research and also from the University of California, Los Angeles. And it was triggered by a report in the New England Journal of Medicine that said a clinical trial of testosterone gel in men over 65 was halted early after an increase of heart attacks, and other heart issues occurred in the group using the testosterone supplements. And Finkel's team used data from the Truven Health Analytics, which gathers nationwide information on patient care. And the researchers looked at medical records of nearly 56,000 men who had been prescribed testosterone therapy, and they said we had identified the timing of the first prescription and followed them for 90 days. They said the risk for heart attack doubled in the 90-day period for men over 65 and those under 65 with a history of heart disease. So when they continued to follow the men for another 90 days, the researchers said the risk declined to the level in the study start were men who did not really refill their initial prescription. So they said we don't have enough evidence to say testosterone supplements actually cause the heart attacks, but there is a strong correlation. And they said the theory is that testosterone most likely promotes clotting, and in older men who have thinner blood vessels, the clotting could cause problems such as stroke and heart attack. And, of course, one expert who was not involved in the research looked at it and said, based on the best available data, the testosterone replacement still appears to be safe. And Dr. Ryan Terlicki, he's the director at the Men's Health Clinic at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center, said among all the flaws in the study was the use of information obtained from medical claims data, which makes it uncertain which men actually used the testosterone, and said the researchers did not have information on why the testosterone therapy was prescribed, but men who are discussing testosterone therapy with their doctors should add the risk of heart attack to the discussion of risk and benefits of testosterone. So Terlicki said that men who had lack of energy should first see their doctor and ask about the screening for depression and other issues like thyroid disease, B12 deficiency, and the like. Testosterone therapy, they say, is marketed so successfully, and the independent medicine websites actually do quite well with it. And, I mean, it is. I mean, no guy wants to lose their vitality. I mean, it's kind of the essence of a guy anyway. And so keeping your testosterone levels up and at a balanced level is what every guy wants. They want to keep it at a strong level and not letting it drop, not letting it get too low, and really having a good, steady hormone level is important. But you've got to understand the physiology of the body and how it actually works to even be able to do that. And that's makes such a big difference by understanding. And I mean, with testosterone, just to break it down for just a moment, the big key is if you start taking any kind of hormone, you have what's called negative feedback. And that means that if the body's already weak in production of a hormone, and then you go in and give it the hormone, it's actually going to make its own production stay weaker. And you'll be dependent on that hormone really from that point forward. So that's the challenge that you really have to watch is you don't want to be just totally dependent on the hormones themselves. You've got to really have a place where you just, again, you do everything you can to let your body produce its own again. And ways to do that with testosterone, just to give you kind of a handful of tips that can help. Number one, keep your diet and keep your fat levels in your diet, rather, at 30% of your overall calories, okay? So, I mean, that gets an average person eating almost 100 grams of fat a day, and you're thinking, oh, my gosh, it's all kinds of fat. But your body needs that kind of fat. But it's the good kind of fat. It's the almonds, the walnuts, the cashews, the avocados, all that sort of thing. Makes a big, big difference. And then, of course, number two is you want to exercise with resistance exercise. And I don't care if it's weight training or body weight exercises, either one. So even the exercise videos like P90X, T25, Beachbody does a great job with all that. They really do. Got to give kudos to them. They've done some great work, great production on those. And the exercise routines are really good. You're using all your body weight and you're burning calories in a great way. I mean, it's a great system. So look into some of those, but you've got to get full body movement and really work on the system that way. Then the other one that you have to look at, which is also very important, is supplementation, because it can help. It really can. Keeping your protein levels up, but also with the supplementation, making sure that you've got plenty of good things like tribulus, maca root, ashwagandha, zinc. Zinc is a real key component with testosterone production, and when guys get low in zinc, it begins to shut everything down. That's why you got to be really, really careful with that as well. So those are some tips to really keep testosterone levels up where they need to be. With the resistance training and the weight training, really stick to about, I would say, at least 3 days a week. From everything the research shows, 3 days a week of 20 to 30 minutes is what it takes to increase growth hormone levels and testosterone levels. So they really will work well hand in hand. And to back off and do that, you should notice a big difference. Get a personal trainer, someone to work with you, because they can help get you not only working out, depending on your age and if you've ever been in the gym or not, but they can really get you to a place where you're not going to get injured and you're going to be exercising in the right way to be able to support everything you're doing. And that really is the overall key. So when it comes to building up those testosterone levels, everything matters. And I'm telling you, it is so important to get those involved, because, guys, as we age and our testosterone level drops, it really does. It sets you up for prostate issues, for the low vitality, the mental issues that can come along with that, depression and anxiety. You ever heard the grumpy old man concept? Well, that's because dopamine starts dropping in the brain, and that's because testosterone drops. So it all goes hand in hand, and it does matter to keep your body in the right state. And testosterone is our fountain of youth in many, many ways. Coming up, more information about your health. Empower your health. I see you on the phones. We're going to go right to you, so don't go anywhere. Also, you want to send me your emails, do that as well, or jump into social media. You can jump into Twitter as well as Facebook, and we'll take those questions on the show as well.
Want to turn back the clock 15 years and have more energy? This is Dr. Raisa telling you to just breathe with LiveO2. LiveO2 delivers the right amount of oxygen we need for optimal health. Go to liveO2.com. That's liveO2.com.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Check us out on the web. We're on the phones now. Talk with Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
I have a big problem. My legs are turning very purple and red above the ankle and underneath the ankle. I have big bumps now, and they burn. My skin is almost black. I would say probably about 8 inches high from the ankle up high. They're always swollen. I've been to many doctors, and they all say you have to live with it. Your muscles to your ankles are worn out, and the blood is coagulating. But it's so painful, I'm afraid my skin will open. I also went to the gynecologist, to two of them. They said, oh, you are so riddled with inflammation. How do you get rid of inflammation? I don't know what that is. I have nail fungus also, and the last 2 years I noticed I lose my hair. I know this might sound silly, but often I feel my nose is swollen. I can literally see my nose. My eyes are swollen, and my earlobes. I am 64, and I just don't know what goes on. I lost all faith in my doctors. I feel very uncomfortable often. I have a terrible vaginal itch at times, and at times I don't. So they say it's inflammation. Please help me, doctor. If you could give me any good recommendation, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, bless your heart. I know the key is, well, first of all, you said something that really, don't lose faith in your doctors, because they're doing more than, they're doing everything they can. Doctors can only go as far as they've been trained and with what information they have. So, but here's the thing: have faith and confidence in yourself that you can definitely get better and live better. Because the main issue with inflammation in the body is really what you put inside your body every single day. Inflammation starts in the digestive tract; it's where it begins, and so we have to put the right kind of foods in on a regular basis to make a difference. And the better foods we put in, the better it's going to, the more difference it's going to make in our system overall. So that's what I would focus on, is, of course, cutting out all the processed foods, the breads, the pastas, the cereals, the crackers, putting in healthy organic foods if possible, and then, of course, cutting out a lot of the coffee and sodas and fruit juices. Stick with water and tea mostly. If you really start to transform your health, a lot of this information is at our website. But if you really start to transform your health, making better choices, making better habits, and lowering the inflammation throughout the body, you'll notice a difference. Now, again, not knowing all the details, seeing any of the numbers and all that, it's tough. But, your doctors can really lay the groundwork for you. I would encourage you, if you don't have a nutritionist or a lifestyle coach or expert of some kind, get one. Have someone that can coach you along the way, that can be a good addition and team with your doctors, and they can come up with an overall game plan. But your eating habits, exercise habits, and lifestyle habits have to begin. That's something that no other doctor can do for you. You have to take responsibility for that. No one else can. You have to. And as you begin to make better choices that way, that's eventually and ultimately how you will win in this. It's coming down to your choices. So if you leave your diet up to just, well, what if and whatever, that's not going to fare well for anyone. So it's about your choices. Make good ones, and you'll see how your body can ultimately respond in a great way. And that is a big key for your overall health. 888-283-7272. Give us a call, and, of course, you can always go online as well. Treatment often, they say, for children with anxiety disorders has been changing quite a bit. And believe it or not, we're seeing a lot of anxiety in kids today, and we're wanting to know, well, what can they do? Well, the Journal of American Medical Association in Psychiatry, in that division, they did a study that was published recently, and they found that girls were twice as likely as boys to fall into the depths of anxiety. And it had to do with trust and some issues in that area. But they said to a child, an adolescent psychiatrist who works day to day with anxious children and sometimes anxious parents, they said that when the parents deal with a lot of anxiety, then it transfers over to the kids because it creates an environment of anxiety. And the research was led by a psychologist, Golda Ginsberg, at the Johns Hopkins Children's Center in Baltimore. Her team tracked about 288 patients aged 11 to 26 who were diagnosed with anxiety and underwent treatment for about 3 months. The treatment included drugs, cognitive behavioral therapy. And after the treatment, the patients were followed on average for about 6 years. Only 47% of the patients were anxiety-free by the end of the follow-up period, And the risk of anxiety, they said, relapse was not affected by the original treatment. So just because a child responds well to treatment early on doesn't mean that the work is done. And with anxiety, a great piece of this is that you can affect it with eating habits so often. I mean, the food choices that can be made every single day, cutting out a lot of the grains can make a big difference. So bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, oatmeal, all of that can make a big difference with anxiety, because what happens is a lot of foods will lower GABA levels, and you want GABA to actually be at a good balanced state, and you can do that with foods. GABA is our inhibitory neurotransmitter, and when it gets too low, it creates anxiety. So see, it's not so much, it is our environment, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's what happens to us and how our body reacts to it. But we can make some incredible strides by eating the right kind of foods and modifying our lifestyle to combat a lot of what we deal with brain chemistry-related issues. It's amazing what the body can do. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Jay Patrick, engineer John Garrison, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can change the health of our friends, our families, and our communities.
Did you know you can listen to the ASA RX audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the ASA RX audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.